Chapter 1, Lesson 1. Feeding is a lifelong relationship with food. When we talk about feeding babies, it's easy to focus on what they're eating, how much they're eating, or whether they're eating at all. But feeding is bigger than any single meal. From the very beginning, feeding is about trust. Trust in the body, trust in the caregiver, and trust in the experience itself. What we're doing in the first year isn't about creating a perfect eater. It's about laying the foundation for a lifelong relationship with food, one that feels safe, flexible, and connected. For most of human history, babies didn't eat separate foods from their families. Commercial baby food didn't really exist until the mid 1900s, and early products came in just a few flavors and textures. These were actually pretty nutritionally dense. There was a vegetable soup, beef, and a spinach. But over time, they became sweeter, smoother, and more uniform because that was easier and cheaper to produce. Today, many store-bought baby foods are fruit-based, often blended with apple for sweetness and consistency. These foods aren't harmful, but they don't represent the full range of flavors and textures babies are capable of learning from. Babies are born with a preference for sweet. That makes sense. Breast milk is sweet, formula is slightly sweet, but babies are also capable of accepting bitter, sour, savory, and complex flavors, especially when they're exposed early and often. Research shows that taste acceptance is highest early in infancy. By the time many babies are considered ready for solids, that window is already beginning to narrow. That's why variety matters, not perfection, variety. Texture is very important too. Babies learn how to eat by chewing, gumming, and managing food in their mouth. Cultures that traditionally offer whole foods that require chewing often see strong oral development because babies are practicing those skills early. This doesn't mean that purees are bad, they aren't. Purees can be nourishing, comforting, and useful. But when purees are the only texture offered, babies miss out on learning how food changes, breaks down, and needs to be managed in their mouth. In this course, we're not working towards a rigid feeding style. We're working towards balance. Purees can be spoon-loaded for self-feeding. They can be used as dips. They can be spread on toast. They can soften foods that feel a little dry. They are one tool among many. I also like to use them like finger paint. What matters most is how feeding feels. Eating is a vulnerable activity. Babies are learning to coordinate their bodies, manage new sensations, and trust what's happening in their mouth. When feeding experiences feel calm and predictable, babies learn that food is safe to explore. Over time, trust becomes curiosity, curiosity becomes confidence, and confidence becomes a flexible relationship with food. Throughout this course, we'll talk about what to serve, how to serve it, and how to support safety and development. But underneath all of it is this core idea that feeding is a lifelong relationship with food. I'm going to be honest with you. The majority of the sleep programs that I've ever learned about are feeding programs in disguise. And it's all a plan to have parents feed babies a certain amount of food throughout the day so that they will sleep a certain amount of hours at night. This is a very volume-driven approach. And while I'm not claiming it's harmful, it's just not the philosophy of this course today. We're not focusing on how much the baby eats because you're not just feeding a baby, you're helping a human learn how to eat. And that relationship will last a lifetime.